Welcome back to the Beyond the Blueprint podcast, powered by Lapolis Electric, and I'm your host, Stephen Marcelino Jr., Vice President of Sales with Lapolis Electric. And this week we have a special episode. We're shooting in Marco Island, Florida, at the 2024 TAG Principals and Diamond Award event. With me today, I have Luis Jones McGee, Principal and owner of Sabino Electric out of Arizona. I have Chad Turner, President of Turner Electric from Ohio. And I have Buster Kirkland, Vice President of Humphreys and Associates from the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. Thank you all very much for joining me today. I'm very excited for this episode, as I have expressed with you guys throughout the past few weeks when we set it up, and happy to have you all.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. That was a very uniform response. So I'm going to just tee it off with a quick question to set the tone, and I'll let you guys take it from there, and wherever we go, we go. So I want to ask, what are the advantages of utilizing franchise partners compared to other business expansion models? And you guys could choose rock, paper, scissors, however you want to do it. Who starts?
I think I'll start, since I'm probably not only age, but the oldest contractor in the network.
Beautiful.
Here, been 26 years, I guess,
Wow.
the network. I think the advantage of it is I know that Louise and Chad and their company's personnel have all gone through the same training and processes to run the model. And so if we have to call on each other, we already know what their skill sets are and what they can deliverables they can make to us when we need them.
I think we've all had experience utilizing other TAG contractors for different projects. Years ago, when there was a blackout in the Northeast, Louise's company called us to help set up some generators. Buster, you've done some major projects utilizing the network. Have you done a lot of e-mobility stuff? And again, like Buster said, it's just, you know the people, you know the organization, you know their commitment to service, and they're going to put the best effort out there for you because you have that personal relationship from coming to meetings like where we're at today.
100%.
We've all worked together over the years to satisfy the end client's needs, what their needs are. As a group, we work together to ensure that we can accomplish the end task, which is satisfying our clients and ensuring that their electrical needs are met.
Yeah, and even myself, being out of New York, I manage a couple accounts that have, a national presence, and I've worked with the, with the Humphreys team very closely on a few projects, and, other areas down south and whatnot to service this client. And, listen, they're a mission critical client. It's a data center, and that common level of training, Buster, that you had mentioned is extremely important because for my peace of mind, your peace of mind, and everyone sitting here, if you call a TAG contractor, whether it's in Texas, Ohio, Arizona, New York, the United Kingdom, Florida, wherever it is, we know we're going to get that common level of service, from testing procedures to managerial, presence to the softwares that we implement, from the MSR to the operations team to the tech, to then turn over to the client once the testing is done. Everything's uniformed, and we're all trained on a common scale, which is extremely important for what we do.
And it's not just meeting the end client's needs, and we have new contractors that are moving into new skill sets.
Yep.
It's not uncommon for any one of us to go and assist or send personnel in to help that client or that contractor brush up on the skill set and then complete their energized or de-energized maintenance that they've sold through to the client.
Yeah, it's very important. And I know, Chad, you and I have spoke a lot. You guys get into some very technical testing, and I think it's important, that throughout the network, we have contractors that specialize in these, we're already in a niche market, but the more niche testing capabilities, that really diversify us from our competitors out there, because it allows you to educate me, me to educate the next guy, and that's how we really grow. You get into a lot of like the SF6 gas testing, the oil processing, and different specialty avenues of this industry.
Absolutely, and I've always said that no matter what we get into, there's someone in the network that has experience with it. So you have that comfort level that you can call a fellow TAG contractor anywhere in the world and say, hey, we just ran into this. Have you guys have any experience with this? Yeah, let me walk you through it. Or, hey, do you need me to send a guy out to help you go through your first time with that? I mean, we've had contractors that I looked up to for years that have been in the network. They had a turnover of personnel. Now they're calling us saying, hey, can you come up and help us with some relay testing? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, you guys helped me. How am I helping you now? But it was they've had some turnover in staff or some, people, retired out, and they lost a lot of that knowledge. So now they're coming back around and saying, hey, can you help us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, again, that's the power of the network because you trust each other that you can make those phone calls.
Yeah, it's very important. Definitely very important.
Just a few years ago, we had sent some personnel back to your location to do some training, and they ended up staying on for a few extra days to assist with a large de-energized you
Yeah,
were
we had a-
completing for a
That was
client.
a really neat experience. We had hosted some training in Ohio with a number of different contractors coming to get some training with Eaton, and we had a large outage that weekend that the customer added some scope. And so we said, hey, who can stay? We need a couple more people.
Wow.
So Louise's team was already there for the training. They stayed through the weekend, helped us out, and got the outage done in a timely manner. But they just seamlessly rolled right into the rest of our crew and did a great job for us and never thought twice about it.
Yeah.
Which goes back to that uniformity of
Yeah,
skill sets
yeah,
and training.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about the network, whether it's technical help in the field or, if we're performing an arc flash study, we have PEs, we have engineers, we have very high level, experienced, team members across the nation and the world, to really provide that overall pleasant customer experience for the end user. And that's, it's beautiful.
I think that if you think about the TEG model and what it's for, we're trying to make sure that customer's assets are maintained properly and stay online. To do that, we have to do all of these energized tests and some de-energized when we de-energize equipment. So if you look at it, we as our company, we do about 80% of what Anita independent testing
Yep.
third party does. But all of our tests are support the maintenance strategy. So yes, we do go out periodically and test breakers, test cables, stuff like that, onesie, twosie, and for other contractors.
Whatever
But
they
the,
need.
but the main thing is to support the maintenance strategies to assure that customer, we and him have done everything. He shouldn't have a failure on his side of the meter, so to speak. So
And that's that's the big thing, I think as well with the overall franchise being on that common scale. I think I could speak for all of us in saying, like you had mentioned, Buster, we're not just coming in to do onesie twosies and move on to the next guy. We're looking to help develop a preventative maintenance program to implement into the facility. Whether it's from ground up and starting with some energized testing to develop that baseline, doing the arc flash studies to implement now a higher level of safety in the facility, and then if de-energized maintenance is required on the infrastructure, we can do everything from
Yep.
top to bottom and write those programs internally. Not only write the programs, but help the clients budget for it, so they can forecast it out over a 3 to 5 year period so they don't feel like they have to choke on it all in 1 year.
And one thing I think that sets all of us apart in what we do is we're electrical contractors. So if a situation arises, we've got the skill sets and the people to fix it. Whereas a testing lab may have to get a hold of Louise or get a hold of Chad. Hey, can you help us get this put together? So we kind of offer that
Yeah.
by being contractors first. TEG is a service that we offer, to go through like that. So
100%.
And we can assist them in managing that entire building electrical envelope
Yep.
from cradle to grave.
100%. Yeah, it's a full from consultation all the way to being able to install lights, outlets, work on the main switch gear,
yeah,
test. It's full turnkey
We
service.
just did a major outage for a large refinery, and they had been using a testing company in the past, and they love the fact that our guys could fix the problems as they were standing there. Or like we like to say, if we test a cable and it's bad, whether it's medium voltage or 600 volt cable or whatever, same technician who tested the cable is bad is already, you know, hey, I need the chugger, I need this. They're already getting ready to pull that cable out if the customer chooses. You don't have to call in a separate crew. You don't have to call in a separate company. We can take care of it because those are people who are journeyman electricians are the ones that are finding the problem and then correcting it, which I think the refinery loved it. I know that.
Well, you've got the connections and the resources to get the cable coming, get the terminations coming, get everything coming, and not slow that process down.
Right.
And, you know, by no means, testing companies are great. By no means, they have their place. But for what we do, we have that ability. Like Chad said, he found a problem, boom, we can fix it right then.
Completely different
Under
business model.
same under the same shutdown, hopefully, and keep it moving right on. So.
And even, you know, on our side, like a little success story during an outage we performed, you know, from the start to the finish, we had to take out a research and development facility for a hospital where they do cancer research. So they couldn't take a pure outage. You know, we had to come in, set up a full temporary electrical infrastructure, 2 1 megawatt generators, you know, switchboards, 18,000 feet of cable to temp all the loads out, you know, the whole nine. And, you know, once the outage went underway, while we were performing the de-energized maintenance on the main switchgear for the building, we found a piece of copper bus in the switchgear that wasn't properly bolted down during construction. So over the years of it being loose, it was damaged, you know, burnt up, it was arcing, the whole nine. We were able to get the measurements on that piece of copper that was damaged, called our fabricator that we use, had that exact piece of copper overnighted to the site. You know, fortunately we had a week-long outage. We had that piece of copper overnighted to the site, and we were able to, you know, reinstall that copper. Next section is switchgear, had a damaged piece of micarta, it was completely busted up, you know, rotting away. We had a piece of micarta sent to the site the next day, and we were able to make these on-site repairs without the client even knowing. You know, obviously in the report we make them aware it was damaged, but we were able to act at that moment and replace it and not just test it and say, hey, you have these problems, you need to shut the building back down to repair them.
Yeah, it's challenging enough to shut a building down, especially a cancer research facility. So the ability to be able to handle it right then and there is a true value to the client.
Oh yeah, basically do it without turning the power off, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
bring in temporary generators, whatever, wraparound stuff. That's the main thing.
And my point of my point there is, you know, and like you said, Buster, not to knock testing companies, but for a testing company to be able to approach a project like that, they'd probably have to bring in an engineer, an electrician, you know, maybe a general contractor even. Who knows who they would try to get involved? Where we did the whole project turnkey. You know, we managed it, we GC'd it, and we executed it. You know, and I know everybody sitting here and even, you know, other members of the network, you know, we've all had our own fair share of those types of projects where it was electrical first, testing, back to electrical, and final product to the client.
Well, like you know, like we were talking about earlier, you know, that's the value of the network, because you get into a problem. Maybe it's something that your technicians haven't experienced before. You've got the network to fall back on and make a phone call and say, hey, Buster, we've never run into this before. Louise, we've never run into this before. Have your folks done this?
Yep.
You know, and to help support each other to get through that for the clients is a
Very much so.
major advantage.
We have a newer contractor that doesn't have a great deal of experience in medium voltage. And so we are working directly with that new contractor and their client to help make the repairs that are necessary for that particular transformer and so forth. So not just that, how many times do we share equipment, loan each other equipment? Chad could have a situation where he knows I've got XYZ in the shop, pick up the phone, give a call, we'll next day air it to him, whatever
We've done
needs to
that
be done.
plenty of
We
times.
have done that before many a times.
You know, you get a larger outage and you know, hey, I need this, I need a backup piece of test equipment, or I need a second piece of test equipment. You guys have it. And, you know, we've done that a number of times, sending stuff across to each other.
It's
And-
very important.
Back to the point that the shared common practices throughout the network, we know that equipment's calibrated, just like we know the personnel are trained to the same level of perfection.
And and we trust each other enough that it's going to be taken care of because of the personal relationships we've developed. You know, we know each other. We, you know, go out to dinner with each other at functions like this. We have that personal relationship that you don't always have with either a rental company or, you know, your competitor down the street. We're all kind of in this together, so it's, yeah, I want to help. I want to see them succeed. I want to, you know, allow that to happen. So how do I help them?
We're family.
Yep.
It-
Family's my
100%.
thing.
It's an international family, worldwide family.
It is.
Well, it's neat.
You know, for us as Humphrey Associates, 2014, we got called in by a large telecommunication provider for the government and for private and public to start doing maintenance on certain items to be able to get their certifications from the FCC. And that is morphed in now to switchgear programs, what they call medium voltage programs and stuff. And we've been asked to do it in 12 states, which basically right through the center of the country.
Wow.
So we were able to reach out to TEG contractors, and almost all of them except for 2 are in the network. So we know that when we dispatch a job out to say Assinger, who used to be in St. Louis, but I think it's guaranteed now, Kaylee dispatches the job out, they come grab it, go do it, bring it back. Well, we know that they know how to do the program, how to do it. So it takes a lot of pressure off the contractor from worrying about getting it done, but at the same time, it shows to the public, if you want to try to do a national account, you can do it knowing all the contractors know exactly what to do to provide that service. So that's one of the
100%.
values of being in the TEG network.
Yeah, it's very important to know that we can assist clients anywhere at any time, you know, and my experience with working with the TEG network across the nation and even in other countries, you know, I have a buddy, you know, when I reach out to them sometimes at like 6:30 in the morning or some odd hour because I'm up and I'm already working, he's like, you really operate on contractor time. And, you know, that's something I could
All the
say.
time?
And that's something I
24/7.
could truly
Yeah.
say about the TEG network. I've called, you know, other states where a client of mine had an emergency on a property at very odd hours of the day. They answered the phone, and I was able to assist my client with an emergency service call in another state in the middle of the night and get them back online. And that's the power of our network. You know, I think everybody truly understands how serious it is with what we're dealing with, you know, and how important the electrical infrastructure is to our clients in their day-to-day. You know, we're mitigating electrical fire hazards and business interruptions. You know, I can't tell somebody that I'll do this for you and then not do it when they call me in a pinch.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the most beautiful things about the network, in my opinion.
Yeah, that way, you know where the location is, you know the contractor. Hey, I'm gonna get Sabino to give you a call. They'll take care of you. Just work with them. You don't have to get back with us. Just work with them. You know,
That's it.
same thing with Chad or any of the other ones in the network. 'Cause
It's very
take care of the client's most important because they'll take care of you on the other end.
Yeah, 100%.
And regardless of the time that phone rings,
Yeah. You see, it's, you know, Louise calling or Buster calling.
yeah.
It's usually serious.
Oh, this is serious.
Yeah.
It's 3 in the morning and they're calling me. Well, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know.
Unless I'm
And
just
that may
trying.
be personal too. But, you know, I mean,
Maybe I'm
we've
just
had
trying
that
to
too.
find a new TV series to watch on Netflix. You won't find out unless you answer the phone, though.
We always got to remember this. You only get one chance to not perform for that client.
Yeah.
You blow it, chance of you getting that second phone call, because basically our job is to take somebody else's pain away from them.
Right.
Yep.
Basically, that
Exactly what it
sums
is.
it up.
And if someone's calling for me for an issue in Dallas or
Yeah.
in Tucson, they have a serious issue and they're saying, hey, I need your help.
Yep.
So I'm calling the person I feel most comfortable with, and that's my tech friends.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it is, you know, Louise hit it on the nail a little bit ago. And she said, we're all family. I mean, we all know each other's spouses and kids and families and spend time away from these events, you know, calling each other, checking up on each other. How you doing? You know, how's your health? How's this? we truly care about each other. So
Yeah.
we want to see each other succeed, and we want to
Very much so.
do whatever we can. And it goes beyond just, beyond the blueprint, beyond the nuts and bolts,
It does.
to caring about each other as people.
And that's another topic I actually wanted to bring up, but I didn't want to derail the conversation we were just having because it was great. You know, the three of you and some other people in the network have been an integral part in mentoring me personally. You know, I'm extremely young in this industry. Carmen Lapolis has given me a lot of responsibility, by promoting me to vice president of sales, in his company. And I've turned to everyone sitting here and other people in the network that are in similar roles to me, but have been doing it for, years, beyond me and have a lot of wisdom and knowledge of, these types of leadership roles, and I call and say, hey, listen, I need advice. What do I do with this? Or how should I speak to this person? Or, and the advice I get is priceless, and aside from technical service, from a career development standpoint and just being there for each other, Chad, like you said, like a family, Louise, you said it too, it's words can't describe how that makes people feel, and it's truly a beautiful thing that we can all be there for each other beyond the blueprint, like you said,
So, I mean, the first person I ever met at a TEG meeting, not a TEG employee, was Buster. I was in Pittsburgh, it was 24 years ago, coming down the elevator and didn't really know anything about anything. You and Charles were sitting there and like, hey, we're just about ready to go grab some lunch. You look like you're part of the TEG group. Yeah, why don't you come with us? It started a friendship that lasts to this day just by, reaching out and saying, hey, come on with us.
Yeah.
Louise, helped me through a whole lot of different stuff, both business and personally, that, late night phone calls and stuff like that. So it's taking that first step, introducing yourselves to the new network contractors and saying, hey, we're all here for you. Buster did that for me. I've done that for others. And it's just carrying it forward and developing that culture that, it's not just work, it's beyond that.
But we're not competitors.
Yeah.
We're not
We're
competitors.
friends in the same industry.
And all three of us either are or more recently have been advisory council members. And as such, we mentor the new contractors that are coming into the network.
Yeah.
And help them facilitate the culture, the service culture and mentality that they need to be successful within the model.
Yeah, and that's something Carmine lives and breathes every day. The other 3 days before I came here, we were on the phone with a new contractor. I believe they're opening up in the Massachusetts area. A gentleman named Mark, and he just shot me a text right before I started the podcast that he's looking forward to meeting. We had a call, told him I'd sit down with him, help answer any questions he has on whatever he needs to ask, and we're there for them. Even if it's their technicians observing how we do a shutdown or how we carry out our infrared procedures, whatever it is, talking with his MSRs, hey, how do I prospect? How do I sell this? How do I utilize LinkedIn to go out there and drum up some leads? Whatever it is, I told the guy 20 questions, hit me with them, and I'm more than happy to work with you.
We had some similar situation come up last year. One of the contractors, been in the network a long time, was struggling with something. Sent out a text, I think to you, within 5 minutes, there was a group of 12 contractors saying, hey, let's meet tomorrow, let's meet at 1 o'clock. We went to one of the other contractors' hotel rooms, we holed up, and we sat there, we stayed there until we had a reasonable solution that we all brainstormed together. And this is a time when every one of us could have been with family, could have been with some of our Diamond Award winners, relaxing in the pool or having a drink. We said, no, someone's got a problem. Let's pull together. Let's help them brainstorm this and help them figure it out. And it's, just like what you were talking about with this new contractor. Hey, how do we help? How do we help?
And that's what it's all about.
So that's why I think the round table discussions are probably one of the most important things you can attend, because it doesn't matter if you're an MSR, you're a technician, whatever the case may be. if a problem's brought up, you might get 10 different answers, especially how to knock doors, you know, how to get
Yep.
through the gatekeeper. You may pick something up that Bill Newman from New York, hey, that might work for me.
Right.
Or something, sometimes you get to leave with little nuggets.
Yep.
Same thing on the technical side, same thing on the principal side. You pick up little nuggets that, hey, I might try that. If that's working for Louise, I might just try that. Or I might try that because I heard it from Chad, or I heard it from, you know, Carmine or somebody like that. You know, might try that. You know,
Yeah, I think
it's kind of like a peer group, you know what I'm saying?
my biggest turning point, because when I became an MSR, it was February of 2020, you know, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been able to come to Con Ed in person for those, I think it was 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
It continued in 2022, right?
Yep.
It was my first year in Con Ed, and I was in 2 years as an MSR. In those 2 years, I learned a lot. I got a lot of over-the-phone mentorship from other sales leaders or MSRs on how to sell the product. But when I came to Con Ed for my first time in 2022, it was a major turning point in my career with TEG, because I got to soak it all up, meet everybody in person, and just get some advice that money can't even buy, you know, that I use to this day. And I noticed it too with the new MSR that we brought on, Giuseppe, who you all met in the past Con Ed. After he went to Con Ed this year, it was like a light bulb went off in his head, because you get to sit down and eat lunch with other reps from other territories that have been doing it for so long, or whatever your business function is. You could talk one-on-one with a gambit of experts and learn.
Yeah,
You know,
see and hear their success.
yeah, it's, you know,
It becomes real.
it's so invaluable that, like, you know, it's, I can't even put words to describe what that does for somebody's, especially starting out as a newer MSR or ops coordinator or technician, whatever your function is. Coming to these, you know, networking, you know, events or education conferences, it just changes the entire way that the mind looks at the industry as a whole and how to approach our franchise.
I think Buster and Chad can both agree that being at the continuing education event is priceless.
Yeah.
You've got brand new technicians, brand new MSRs, brand new admin personnel, brand new general managers, brand new owners, and they're just looking to absorb the knowledge that the rest of the group has.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing experience, funneling that knowledge.
You know, to me, one of the things that I always look forward to in a Con Ed is when they do the opening and they give numbers. Okay. So to me, if you're a new contractor and you've got MSRs that are quoting 25 and 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and not getting any, but then you could see there was this many million sold and the average sale was $7,000. Maybe I need to throttle him down. Because to me, when you can see the work can be performed, work can be acquired, because others are doing it, to me, it becomes a challenge. We should be able to do it if y'all are able to do it. We just got to figure out the, quote, the magic step I'm missing to get over.
And as contractors, it's hard to understand the importance of a $7,000 agreement.
Yeah.
Because that may be a change order on a construction job. You know, and you're looking for that $50,000, $100,000 project.
Yeah.
And to get really excited about a $7,000 maintenance agreement, I'll take those all day, every day, man.
Heck yeah.
So will I.
Largest
So will I.
You know, but if you're taking someone that's from that contractor construction mindset, that's a big shift. And to have them hear that at the presentation to say, you know, hey, that is the average. Maybe I am going a little too big, or I'm not listening to the budget.
Or, you know, it's like Jim Smith always told us. Would you rather have one $100,000 job customer and lose it, or have 10 $10,000 customers, and if you lose one,
Still have
you don't want to lose them,
Yeah, no, you never want to
but it's not as painful.
Not
you
quite
know?
as painful, no.
So you got to look at it that way.
So,
Yeah.
and like you said, when you're in those meetings, you're networking and helping each other. You're not competitors,
No.
Correct.
so you can be very open and honest about your business and what's going on and what's happening,
Very much
and
so.
not be concerned about.
Yeah.
We're all following the same model.
Yeah, we're all
We're all
following.
contractors. We're in the same family,
One
the same
big
network.
roadmap, one big family, and you know, it's, in my opinion, a major recipe for success. And listen, unfortunately, we're out of time. I could have probably let this conversation roll for the next 3 hours. You know, it was awesome. You know, it was a lot of fun. You know, bringing you guys on and having it's actually our first town hall style, episode with Beyond the Blueprint. I'm really happy that we were able to do it with, 3 of the top dogs in the TEG franchise, and really just kind of discuss our capabilities across the map. And I want to thank you all for coming down today and speaking with me and being on our podcast on behalf of Lapollis Electric.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us, and hopefully we didn't derail you too bad.
No, that was a
We have a
great-
tendency to do that.
That was a great.
We-
We could have definitely turned this into a fun party type of podcast with this crew here, but
Yeah.
we kept it professional and educational, and I'm sure anybody that listens to this will learn something that they did not know before they turned this episode on. So,
Well, thank you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank the listeners for watching another episode of the Beyond the Blueprint podcast, powered by Lapollis Electric. I'm your host, Stephen Marcelino, Vice President of Sales with Lapollis Electric. Have a great day.